From Road Atlanta, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's opening round coverage of the Absolute Beginners League's Formula Neagle Season 17 Championship. After spending a few seasons flirting with faster, more powerful, more exotic open-wheeled race cars, the series organizers have returned to dance with the girl they came to the party with, the long-beloved Skippy, a car which Aeronum piloted to literally countless championships. After crowns were fitted on the heads of Alex Johnson for season 15 and David Burns for last season, and with the Roland Estonian name not on the season entry list, the season 17 championship race is winnable by many. Who will get a good start and who will stumble out of the gate? Well, the questions will be answered in just a few moments, as all the simulated Skippy action from green flag to victory donut streams your way on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello everyone and welcome. Way up in the press box to bring you our Bird's Eye View, Bill Soupson, joined by Stefan Slocker. Joe Peak has director duties armed with cameras, provided by Dougie Beard. All right, Stefan, we are at Road America, a track that always seems to put on a good show, especially in these Skippies. Tell the viewers a little bit about this place.
Well, Soup, I've got my popcorn ready, and I tell you, if they would have built a roller coaster for road racing drivers, it probably might look a lot like Road Atlanta. Located on 750 acres north of Braselton, Georgia, this place opened in 1970, and from the beginning, drivers have been both hypnotized and horrified by the rhythm of the track that serpentines through 12 corners, rising and falling over its 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles of asphalt carved out on the red Georgian clay. The facility is utilized for a wide variety of events, including professional and amateur sports car and motorcycle races. They also have racing and driving schools, and obviously also some drift events, especially in that last complex at the chicane. Perhaps this place is best known for the Petit Le Mans endurance race that was first held here in 1988. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC Skippy and take a lap around the roller coaster that is Road Atlanta.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Road Atlanta. Coming down to turn 1, it's a very fast right-hander that eventually rises uphill on exit. The high rate of speed means it's going to be pretty dangerous to attempt to pass into here, and you can expect to find the barriers in a hurry if one of you loses control. Now the track switches back and we have the very blind turn 3. This huge crest means that even as you're braking, you can't spot your apex until you're pretty much on top of it. Expect a few drivers to get cut course penalties when they get it wrong. From there, we've come to the S's. Thread the line and then hold as far right as you can for 5 without getting onto the curb so you don't unsettle the car. Things will really compress on turn in, but then as you come out the exit, the top of the hill makes the car light. A consistent, smooth line will pay off with speed. Now we've got a bit of a moment as we drift left to set up for 6. This is our first passing zone of the track. This corner is deceptive because once again, we're heading uphill, but there's also a fair bit of banking, so the amount of speed you can carry is more than you'd expect. Before you know it though, you're into 7. Now this is absolutely the most important corner of the circuit. It's slow and sharp, but it dumps drivers onto the long backstretch. Botch your exit and you're going to be vulnerable the whole way down. Moreover, in these lesser powered cars, the draft plays a big role, so trying to safeguard yourself with a great launch will make life easier in defending. But if you are being attacked, the braking for the chicane is coming, so you have choices on defending. The switchback means the right or the left side is viable to try and hold position. The important part will be being late and precise on the brakes. From there, we head over the final crest and then let the car hold left. Then, without lifting, blast through the final corner while just grazing that inside curb and make sure you don't drift too far outside and into the grass. If you hold it together, you finish a lap around Road Atlanta.
Joe Peak doing what he does so well, talking and taking us around a road course, this time Road Atlanta. All right, let me take you guys through the point standings from last season. Now, it was a long time coming, but David Third Degree Burns finally earned that well-deserved championship. He had 2 wins and finished really well throughout the whole time there. Ludic Sawyer had the best season ever with the best results of 3rd and never finishing outside of the top 10. The Sintra sensation, Yal Valverde, was second 2 times and had a win, only raced in 3 races the entire season. Alex Johnson was a season 15 champion ahead of Dennis Garrison. Now, Garrison finishes in 4th, and I have a hunch that Garrison is going to be a terrific round today. And GSRC has been all over the success of John Morgan, the cleanest driver without contestation. He rounds out the top 5 overlaid. Let's look at the F2 driver standings now, where we saw Ludwig Sauer have such a great job in the overall championship. He wins this one comfortably. I believe that the ABL has lowered the cut line to 2,300 in iRating, so we'll see if that's going to change things up a little bit. We might see Sawyer racing with the big boys for that crown. There's John Morgan, who finished 5th overall, finished 2nd in the standings. So you can see the rest of the 3 drivers that round out the overlay. Hoffledazen, who started so early, fell down due to lack of attendance. Finally, there is the team championship. No surprise, this be the duet, the marriage that is David Third Degree Burns and Vincent Brame for 2 Stupid Dogs as they win comfortably over NHR East Boys. That had Janssen, the Swede with speed, and Tom Van Hoyman. Team talent there with Liam Quinn and Yal Valverde, a couple good drivers. Just Valverde wasn't here enough for that team to be competitive. And you can see Am Racing Team in 4th. And then Team Attrition slips on into the top 5 at the very end. So that was then, but this is now. And let's tell you what the details are for the race coming up. So, Steph?
So many points, Soup got me completely confused. One thing that you can't confuse, though, is Season 17. Round 1 of 7, as we mentioned, and no drops whatsoever during this 7-week series. Race distance today, 40 minutes, and throughout the season, setups are completely open, but they have reduced fuel, and thus they will need to have to perform at least 1 stop here today. Incident cap, like the standard iRacing cap, you only get 17 and you're out.
Looking at the drivers here in practice time, putting in times, and I'm looking for some familiar names. It's a long time, as we are in quali, it's a long time before I got down to David Burns, who was 5th in practice. A lot of new names here today as they welcome back the Skippy. I think that has a lot to do with it.
The first car that will cross the line on a time lap, I think, is Christopher Gavros. I think, at least. He is right now going through the last turn. No, that was an out lap for him. Never mind. So, yeah, the first cars are starting to go over the start-finish line here 3 minutes after the start of the qualifying. Right now looking for the first time, and that is by Sami Toikala, 136.048.
Start to fill up. Robert Grobman in the 2nd position right now.
Ronald Grossman, that is, here. A 90 car, and we quickly have to make this shout out Johan van der Belt. He'll never be this high up in a series in this qualifying here. 2nd place goes to him. In this qualifying at 35.911. Johan van der Belt, obviously the GSRC commentator racing here in the Formula Renault.
A veteran of the series from the very beginning. Tim Hendrickson in the number 028, sitting there in 4th spot now. Troy Banks, sitting at the bottom of our list, gets into time.
Sami Toikala there, side by side with his teammate of Timo Vaskilampi. Vaskilampi still on top of the charts with his 35.827. The teammates trying to work together, and now Timo, let's see if his second time can be a better one than his first one, or if they just switch roles for Sami now to be the car that chases.
So you may wonder why, with the Skippy being so draft dependent, and why they would do qualifying and open qualifying like they are. Well, this is to encourage team play. They're not opposed to that. If you can find a partner or somebody to dance with, get yourself a good qualifying time.
Well, talking about the partners to dance with, a few cars just got tangled up because of Timo Vaskilampi, who spun in turn 1 ahead of his teammate, so that was a little bit of an awkward situation there.
And when you think about it, putting everybody out there on the track for qualifying almost makes more sense. It's drafting is such a big part of the race anyway. Well, let's see how good you are qualifying when you have to draft.
Quite honestly, Sue, I love open qualifying so much more than normal qualifying because they're so much more unpredictable.
Nice large field that the absolute beginners have been known for. Well, I tell you right now, if they had a rookie of season championship, it would be basically everyone would be in it. My goodness, other than Vanderbilt sitting up in second right now, all new names until you get down to Burns sitting in 8th.
If I remember correctly, Alejandro Leiro is racing also in the Weekend Warriors series, so he is making the jump over to the absolute beginners now, sitting in 5th place right now. And I was trying to take a little bit of a joke with Johan van der Belt, obviously, but he still is now down to 3rd place at Sami Toikala with a heck of a lap there, 35.549, putting himself 0.3 clear of his teammate.
Yeah, the fan belt issue has never been qualifying. If there is bad luck to be found, it will find Johan. Actually, if you're a fan of Johan van der Velde, if he makes it through the first 2 laps, then he's in good shape to be a chance to win the thing. Talk about veterans of the series from the very beginning. When I first came on, one of the first things I had to do is learn how to pronounce Wojtek Potocek. Spent a whole week calling my wife Wojtek just so I could get good at it, and then he left the series. So I've been keeping this talent in my pocket for a long time.
One thing I just realized, because our director said he's gonna put the camera on Potocek, and I went actually to Michael Potocek, who is in 16th place. So we have 2 Potoceks in the series right now.
Indeed, Michael is here.
Getting me all confused already at the start of the season. That's not a good sign. One guy who is still not confused whatsoever is Sami Toikala, still being in 4th place by those 0.3, as he put in a lap right now that is just a couple of hundredths of a second slower than his current pole time.
About another minute and a half in qualifying. 25 drivers have put in time so far.
Potocek there with a time that is good enough for a 13th place, being in now about 4 places faster than the second Potocek. Wonder if they're actually brothers.
That's a long season. We'll see if we can find that out between now and the end of it, which will be 7 races from now. Let's look at the driver in 14th position. Thomas Kick, the Strudelmeister in car number 44. Good to have him back.
Thomas Kick, always a very, very interesting person to watch. Very well-liked person also in this series. 14th place, as you mentioned. About 2 seconds off the pace of Sami Toikala.
That kind of blue pastel car behind him, that is Ludwig Sauer. Sauer moves to the inside. Sauer second in the points last season.
Yeah, Sauer seemed to really have liked that Formula 3 car, so he probably is a little bit sad that they went away from that and now went back into the Formula 2000 car that is the skip barber Sami Toikala. Once again, a new fastest lap to his name, a 53.336. 35, sorry.
And that's going to pretty much bring an end to our session here. Glad you could join us for one more opening round of the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle. We have been here for many a season. And with real short seasons and no drop races, it is always exciting. Everything that happens on the track matters. Love this format. There is no playing out the string here in a Formula Neagle season. Everything counts. And just about a time somebody becomes dominant, the string ends and we wash it away, we wipe the slate clean, and we start again.
That is the good thing about a season opener. What happened last season does not matter anymore.
Bambi is back. Neil Bamber moves up a couple spots. David Burns getting in one last run around. He improves. He'll gonna start inside of row 2 when it's all said and done. Troy Adams hoping to squeeze one in here before the time runs out. Yet to put in a time. 28 drivers do have time. Well, he gets in a time, but it's not going to help him. He'll be back in 29th as he was well off the pace. He'll be ahead of all the other cars that did not put in a time. Let's go to the grid. The front row is Sami Toikala. He's going to be flanked by Timo Vescalampi. Johan Vanderbilt is in third with Ronald Grossman flanking him. David Third Degree Burns on the inside of row 3. Mike Pollock in the 6th position. Kurt Krum in 7th inside of Alejandro Liea. Ludwig Sauer, second of the points last season, is in 9th with Daniel Muth to his outside. 7th.
Vincent Brame puts his car into 11th, and Neil Earl Bamber, as I shall call him now, in 12th place. Louis Stevenson 3rd place, Wojtek Podacek 14th, Guillermo and Kraber puts his car into 15th place here on the starting grid. Mikhail Podacek 16th, Thomas Keck, the Strudelmeister in 17th place. Nico Roman 18th place, Josh Brain, the birthday kid, here today in 19th place, and Joel Rice rounds out your top 20.
Hidden Blackjack, Joseph Wright. Double duck spot is John Morgan, Mr. Clean. Ronald Moons in the next position with Christian Grelly outside of him. Ari Sejas, he's usually fast, now in 25th, a little slow for him. Christopher Gios. W.R. Smith in the 27th position. Troy Banks next. Troy Adams after that, and then we get down to the driver step that did not put in times. Who you got?
Frederick Neptune down in 30th place, Scott Angelo 31st, Tim Hendrickson 32nd, Liam Lawson, the number 1, will start in 33rd, and Rob Hobb brings up the rear of the qualifying grid here in 34th today.
You can hear the engine start to harmonize. You know what to do. Gather at the chickens, take covering on the cows. Season 17 is underway, and Sami Toikala leads the stampede down into the sweeping right-hander. That is corner number 1. Vescalampi behind him. Johan Vanderbilt, Grossman, and Burns round out your top 5 as they fan out behind. Going off in the grass, Steph. Hanging out there. Who is that out there?
That's Kurt Krum.
Ah.
Kurt Krum, the only car to go all the way to the grass here in turn 1. Everything else, though, so far, so very clean.
You don't know Road Atlanta? Well, you should have nothing to be ashamed of, because corner 5 is really dangerous. All the skippies go single file through 5. It does not claim a victim on lap number 1. That's a rarity.
And Soup also manages to not jinx anyone there. Everyone literally stays lead through turn 5. A little bit of a smoke through turn 6, but nothing more than some puffs of smoke.
Now we get to the action back straight. Toikala out in front with a big lead. Vescalampi taking a defensive line. Vanderbilt hoping to get through the early laps, and then he can race from there. Well, he's not going to wait, as he's going to make a move for second. Coming into the chicane, boys, you don't want to go too wide through here on the very first lap, and they get it sorted out. Vanderbilt gets that spot.
Johan van der Belt, right now the fastest GSRC commentator on this planet. Johan van der Belt moves himself up to second place, goes past the teammate of Sami Toikala, who manages to lead the first lap of today's motor race.
You've never been in a race with me to the dessert tray. I'll match anybody with my speed when it comes to that contest. A little bit of banging down the front straight. Christian Goulet gets into a single car incident. I think he's going to be okay. No need to go to that one.
Michael Potacek also had to go to the grass in turn 1, so he's going to slot back all the way down to P23. So not the start he wanted to have in this race either.
Through corner 5 for the second time, and this time it took a bite out of Johan van der Belt. He didn't hit a wall, which is a successful move for him, but he did lose not only 1 but 2 spots. That's Galampi now up into second, Grossman into third. No worries though, there's only a few more corners and you're on the back straight. The passing is easy.
Yeah, better to lose 2 positions than to lose the whole race. Ronald Grossman though, he is on the charge up to P2. He tries to overtake Timo Vaskilampi, who might lose once again his second place, the same way he lost it to Johan van der Belt. They go to 10A and 10B, and there we go, Ronald Grossman, and now your second place.
Grossman gets it done. Side-by-side battle, if you can look at Pollock in the 15 machine. Boy, he is really sandwiched in. He's got Burns in front of him. Burns has worked his way up into 5th. Alejandro Liea back there now trying to go to the outside. Careful, boys. They almost make contact. They get it sorted out. Going into 1.
Timo Vaskilampi so far doesn't seem to have the speed in the race trim as he had in the qualifying trim. Not really able to match the speed around the guys he is fighting with, but the others are making the mistakes he doesn't do so far. So, oh, Grossman now with a lot of a big slide there through turn 5.
Ronald has to be careful, doesn't want to lose touch with the leaders. Let's set the table for you now. If you've watched one of these races when it's a draft race, you know how this plays out. You get yourself a lead train. How many are in it? Well, it's 7, with the caboose being Alejandro Liea. Then you go Liero all the way back to Daniel Muth, who's back there in what would be 8th position, but he is almost 3.5 seconds behind.
Timo Vaskilampi is starting to draft up to the back of Ronald Grossman for that second place. He goes to the outside of turn 9. Will he be able to make it stick through turn 10A and B? Yes, he is very in lead, so he moves back up to second place.
Nice racing going on everywhere. Let's take this opportunity to jump in on 22nd position, car number 666, Frederick Neptune. He's our hard charger. Although he didn't put in a qualifying time, so that really shouldn't count. But nevertheless, we like Frederick. He's been around for a long time. Racing behind Michael Potacek. Potacek sitting just outside the top 20. Kurt Crum in that one after Crum went wide, corner number 1, first lap.
Neptune still looking at the rear of Michael Potacek, who now makes a mistake through turn 3, but is able to keep it together through turn 4. So Frederick Neptune fights to still tries to fight away that 24th position.
Let's leave that battle for a minute. Go up to 15th spot. This is car number 12 of Pierre McCravel. He's going to 5-car train with the Strudelmeister behind him, Thomas Kick, Roman in that one, Ari Sejas, and Ronald Moons. Back up front, Grossman racing now in second, under attack from Vaskilampi.
Actually, Grossman did overtake for that second position the core sim racing driver. now back up to P2, and the only guy who's smiling from this is the guy in first, Sami Toikala, who is widening his gap with every single pass they are performing behind him.
Why we left? I don't mean to downplay the action that happens up front. Sometimes I get a little cavalier about it because they know the rules. Usually the guys up front will do a good job behaving or at least swapping positions in more of a dance than a competitive race until it gets down to when it really matters. But you are right. This is an opportunity for Toikala to really start to pull away.
Speaking about gaining and losing times, there you can see on the tower right now the positions gains and losses. The biggest gainer in the field is Mr. Wright, all the way down in 14th position. Plus 8 positions for him, and the biggest loser, Kurt Krum, all the way down in 20th after starting in 7th place.
Yeah, we saw what happened to Krum on that first lap. Working lap number 5, but that really doesn't matter as we're going 40 minutes here. There will be a pit stop. That'll fall somewhere in about the middle third of your race. Let's check back in up top and tell the story a little bit more. What was once a 7-car train has lost its caboose of Alejandro Liero. Liero now about 2.5 seconds behind Pollock.
Yeah, Mike Pollock there in 16th, 6th place, not 16th. 1.8 seconds he is behind your leader, so pretty much a non-existing gap for him all the way up to first place. And Ronald Grossmann, he is starting to chew away on the lead that Sami Toikala still has. As Toikala makes a big mistake through turn 5, goes all the way over the gravel trap, but he keeps it together and actually is able to widen the gap a little bit there to Grossmann.
Corner 5, I think, gets his first victim. Lewis Stevens goes into the wall. We really don't need to do that one as he was well down the... Well, he was racing in 12th spot, so that's going to make a lot of positions to be vultured.
Timo Vaskelampi once again tries to go and overtake Ronald Grossmann, and does succeed so very impressively even before getting close to the braking zone for turn 10A. The little chicane here, 10A and 10B, but Timo Vaskelampi now going super wide out of the chicane. Ronald Grossmann now side by side. Does he dare to try to overtake? Yes, he does. Still side by side. They go, Soup.
Down into corner number 1, and again, early on in the race, so they don't need to fight too much here. We talked about the names that are up there. Toikala, Grossmann, Vaskelampi, very familiar to GSRC broadcasts, but really not a household name here in the Formula Neagle series, unlike Burns and Vanderbilt, who race in 4th and 5th. And Miak Pollock, another name we're going to get to learn about, as we have a 6-car train up front. And I'm beginning to worry a little bit, Steph, about the ability of those 5 cars behind to run down Sammy. Sammy's got a good gap now, 1.6 seconds.
And that is obviously also due to the battling the 2nd and 3rd place, of course, my Vaskelampi are doing right now. That really does enhance the gap of Toikala. But as soon as they stop battling and they're actually able to go single file for 1 or 2 laps, they're actually once again closing down the gap to Toikala. And I'm starting to feel like Vaskelampi is fighting a little bit on purpose here with Grossmann and actually not wanting to catch his teammate.
There you see Vaskelampi getting the best of Grossmann now. Making the late dive, coming up in there. That was Pollock who gets around Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt now the caboose. Let's stay with these until they go into corner number 1, and then we will jump back and talk about a 3-car battle back for 9th. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see what happens as they go into 1. and then work their way through the technical section.
Last lap, they actually lost a full second up to Toykala because of their fighting.
Boy, the racing is good. It's hard to get away from these guys up front, but let's go down and look at that battle down in ninth real quick and give a little love to three veterans of the series. They are much more behaved than the guys up front. This is Sawyer, Green, and Bamber. Well, you add up all the races that these guys have been in, it would be a handful. Go.
Grossman with a big mistake through turn 5, nearly losing the car. They're actually right now side by side between David Burns and Ronald Grossman, going through turn 6. Big slide once again by Grossman as they now come back onto the backstretch.
Boy, I tell you, we like to take you through the field, but for the time being, we're going to focus our attention up here for a minute because this is really exciting. Stuck out there now without a drafting partner is Pollock. Vanderbilt tucks back in behind, but now weaving up in front, Burns slides around Grossman in the mix, 2 by 2 down into the chicane. Get it sorted out, guys. 3 wide, making a move down on the inside is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gets 1, gets 2. They race in diamond formation now into the chicane. They get it sorted out. And when it's all said and done, Vanderbilt will beat it back.
Yeah, only position change there was between Grossman and Burns. To Burns now up to P3. And this now also really opened the gap up to Timo Vaskilampi, who is second place. Oh, Burns!
Little bit of a tap from Grossman. I don't know if he can bump draft in the Skippy. If you try, this is kind of what happens.
Ever so slightly heavy tap there on the rear of David Burns, enough to turn him around. And after that crash, he most definitely has a little bit of Burns on his side of the car.
You can try to tappity tap, but I recommend you only tappity tap. That last tap can be deadly. And Burns ends up in the wall. His race is over. And so, as so often happens, the 7-car train went down to 6, and now Toykala has a 3-second gap back to Vaskilampi, who is all by himself, and now there's only 3 left: Grossman, Pollock, and Vanderbilt.
Seems like Joseph Wright had some problems through turn 5.
Right in front of Wojciech Potocek.
Yeah, and what problems he had. They're already starting here down the S, as you can see. Big slide for him, and then going through turn 4 and then completely losing it through turn 5, over the bumps, overcorrects it very hard, and into tire walls he goes.
Wouldn't be a broadcast from Road Atlanta unless we saw that happen at least once. Now we come back on the 3-car battle. That is now for third. Pollock, Grossman, and Vanderbilt. They head through the technical section. Go ahead.
Grossman got overtaking through the backstretch, so he is losing it. He did lose another position, now down to fourth position. The next car behind him, that is already Johan Vanderbilt.
They get that figured out. They race for third, but they have lost touch. You can see it right there, the gap to second, and then the first place driver is long gone. Oh, and Michael Potocek has had an issue.
Yeah, let's see where that happened for him. Michael Potocek, there he is. There he is away. There he is again. There he is away. So it seems like he ran out of internet juice there, but he is back, and then he's away for good.
No pit stops yet, as we have about 4 minutes away from the halfway mark. I probably think we're in the window here. Our current hard charger in 17th spot. Can we look at, or 15th spot, sorry. Ari Sejas, car number 17. Up 10 positions. It's got about a second to get up to, who would it be? Guillermo Cravo. Keep an eye on Sejas as he tries to climb through the field. But Director, our best battle on the track, try as we might to get away from it, is still third position.
And they're actually starting to close in on second position. That would be Timo Vaskilampi, who cannot, and probably in the next 3 dimensions even, he's not able to keep up with the pace of his teammate Sami Toikala, who has already opened up that gap to 4.6 seconds to his teammate in behind.
Finland in the lead, Finland in second. But that second position much more precarious now as the Grossman, Pollock, and Vanderbilt trio start to close in. Vanderbilt 4.3 seconds ahead of Alejandro
Johan
Hierro,
Vanderbilt
who's fallen back.
Behind overtakes 4th place of Mike Palo. So Johan Vanderbilt now up to P4.
Gets through the chicane okay. All right, here's a couple of veterans. Remember, we're looking at this one. This is Bram, Sauer, and Bamber. They continue to race nose to tail, about a car length between each car. Bram picks up the spot on the up. He's going to lose it. He just got it that last lap, and now he goes a little bit wide out of that final corner. And that's let Sauer go ahead and vulture that spot. Sauer now up into 8th. Bamber watching the show in 10th. Pit stops beginning to happen. Kurt Krum, Guillermo Cravo. They come in. Things beginning to settle down a little bit. It's the calm before the storm. We get the pit stops out of the way, then we have the race to the checkered flag.
While Cravo is in the pit lane to serve his mandatory pit stop, Ronald Grossman does overtake Timo Vaskilampi once again for 2nd place, so the DH driver back up in front for the battle for 2nd place.
I don't know if it's the case, but it's now a 4-car battle up there. I think you're right, though. I don't see a lot of choreography, a lot of cooperation for the drivers in 2nd, 3rd, 4th to try to run down the leader. The passing seems to be much more aggressive, and it actually slows them down rather than slingshots them fast.
Yeah, last lap, for example, 6/10 in favor of Sami Toikala, which is also down to the overtake Grossman did perform on Vaskilampi. But yeah, as I said, it doesn't very much look like they do want to work together, especially Timo and Ronald.
Yeah, and when it just on the pace, based on qualifying times, he was Toikala about a half second faster than the guys that are chasing him. So unless they start to get their act together, it's going to be a tough ask to see if they can get up there. Of course, there is a pit stop. And the randomness sometimes of how fast the fuel goes into one of these lower tiered cars can be a little more extreme. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's look back in on 12th position. Ari Seha and Nico Roman. Seha started in 25th. Having a good run through the field. Roman trying to stay on him. Roman up 4 spots. Again, 2 familiar names to fans of the Formula Neagle. Past the halfway mark we are.
Pretty much expecting these guys to soon pit in for the mandatory pit stop if they take it as long as possible, which we're pretty much expecting from everyone, unless they feel like they're getting a little bit bottled up by another car ahead of them.
You look at that tower right there and you're asking, well, who is your fastest qualifier, and it is Wojciech Podolczyk until right now, as Sejas going to make his stop. Podolczyk goes by. Nope, not yet. Sorry.
Wojciech Podolczyk now coming out of turn 10B, going under the Suzuki Bridge. Where is Sejas right now? He is still in his pit box. About halfway down the start-finish straight, and now he goes out, but already Wojciech Podolczyk going into turn 1. So Wojciech Podolczyk remains the lead of the cars to have pitted.
In 16th spot is where Podolczyk is now. When will our leaders come in? Well, you got a picture is going to happen pretty soon.
Well, they are going past one more time, and no, actually not. That was Timo Vaskilampi pitting in, but he did do so cutting over the grass a little bit, and I wonder if he might have not cut that grass a little bit too much and got himself an unsafe pit entry. We shall see if he has to stop for an additional time than his competitors.
Pit stop should be somewhere around 15 to 16 seconds. Vaskilampi in there for 10 right now. 14. 18. And sure enough, 19. Now he starts to roll. Not sure if that was a penalty, it was just slow. And that's what Toikla has to watch out for.
Yeah, as I said, that was probably just a slow pit stop rather than a slowdown penalty, or sorry, a pit lane penalty there. Fastest stop right now, that goes to Kurt Krum, 14.8 seconds. He was stationary in the pit lane, or pit stall rather.
We talked about Wojciech Podolczyk being your top pitter. Well, now clearly with Vaskilampi making that stop, he's our fastest pitter. But now here comes our leader.
And everyone follows suit. Ronald Grossman joining him, Mike Palloch. Johan van der Belt actually going around another lap, so he will be your leader next time around the line.
Van der Belt out there on the car a little lighter. If you can get one more lap in, maybe you can hot lap. Toikla's in. 10 seconds for his stop so far. Now at 14. Oh, it's a long one. 19-2.
Grossman with a 3 seconds faster pit stop than your leader. Mike Palloch also with a faster pit stop. And where is actually Vaskilampi? He now comes through turn 1. Yeah. He lost about 4 seconds there on that pit stop.
Yeah, an idea of what those pit stops were. Toikla 19.3, and Stefan talked about it, Grossman 16 seconds. So that gives the opportunity to Van der Belt if he pays his crew well, if he got him to bed last night. They got up and early, they're all fresh and clean. Coaster brush, faces are washed, and they're ready to service the car.
There you can see actually the pit comparison between Timo Vaskilampi and Ronald Grossman. As Johan van der Belt now into the pit lane, he goes a little bit slide there through the S's that make up the pit entrance. Not the very easiest of pit lane entrances here at Road Atlanta. Johan van der Belt all the way over to the right side, not really going into the pit pit stalls, but now he is, and pulls up to his crew. Did not overshoot. That was close to overshooting his pit stall.
Toikla through the chicane, through the final corner, coming across the finish line right now. Van der Belt watches him go by and waves to him.
Here he goes off the pit lane right now though, and will not be able to jump Ronald Grossman, or will he? No, Grossman with the better momentum, same with Mike Paluch, but he will stay well ahead of Timo Vascilampi, who is still about 4 seconds behind this back.
Vascilampi, the big loser out of the pit window cycle. So, you got a leader out in front by a comfortable 5.2 seconds. That is Toikala. 3-car battle behind them. Well, we're still waiting for some stops to be made, though.
Actually, we have now all completed our pit stops here. Ludwig Sauer and Neil Bamber, the only 2 cars to also still to pit. They also did take their pit stop with Johan Vannebelt, so Sami Toikala back in the lead.
So, with all the pit stops done, let's go ahead and run you through the field. We'll take them 5 at a time. Sami Toikala out in front by 5.4 seconds. He works on the back of Didier Smet, tried to put that car another lap down. Then we go back to the 3-car battle that we had been watching. Mike Pollock, Robert Grossman, and Johan Vannebelt. That will continue until the checker flag, I believe. Then well back, suffering from a poor pit stop, is Timo Vascilampi in 5th. He's got about 3 seconds back to the driver Steph's going to talk about.
Alejandro Leiro, the 6th car in line, a whopping 13.5 seconds behind your leader of this race. He cycles very lonesome. The next car in line, also a little bit lonesome, that is Daniel Moot in 7th place, starting in 10th. Overall with his 06 car. Ludwig Sauer, he is also not under very much pressure, down in 8th place, and in 9th place we have Neil Bamber in his very colorful car, but he is being chased down by the green and black number 25 of Vincent Bream.
Yeah, that Sauer, Bamber, and Bream battle we watched before the pit stops. They all come out together. A little farther back, a nice little battle for 11th. This is Kurt Crum trying to make up for that mistake on lap number 1. He's worked his way back up to 11th. I believe he just got around. No, he's been ahead of Potocek for a while. Vocek trying to run him down. Nice battle for 11th between those 2 drivers. Back in 13th, the Strudelmeister, Thomas Kick. He's got about 10 seconds to get back to Cravo, who would be in 14th. And then we talked about Ari Seja was having a nice run, falling back a few. He is in 15th position. There are still some more cars on the lead lap. Steph, who's after that?
Nico Roman is chasing down Ari Seas, who you talked about. He is in 16th place with his number 33 car. In behind, about 8 seconds behind, is Shoa Rice, starting in 20th, right now in 17th with his lucky number 13. Ronald Mons, he is your 18th driver in this field, 59 seconds behind your leader at this point in time. John Morgan, he is in 19th place and nearly also getting already lapped by Sami Toikala. 20th place goes to Frederick Neptune. 21st, Christopher Gayros. And the last car to still race down in 22nd position is Didier Smith.
Gayros, the last car on the lead lap, and hopefully he'll be able to stay there. He's got a pretty good gap between him and the leader, working his way around. There you have a run through the field.
Actually, I have to say, I'm a little bit wrong there. Josh Brain, I thought he did already stop his car 6 laps down, but no! He does not want to finish this race with a DNF on his birthday. Josh Brain, the number 946 car, 6 laps down in 23rd.
All right, let's go back into the best battle on the track now. Let's go up to second. Here comes another pass. Pollock making the move on the outside, gets it done on Grossman. Vanderbilt watching on. With 9 minutes of racing to go, this has settled down a little bit. It'll heat up as we get closer to the end.
And one thing we really have to mention, Timo Vascilampi. After the first stint, he's starting to really drop off the pace of the guys ahead of him. Already now 6 seconds back on that 3-car battle ahead of him. And there is no sight or no chance in sight of him catching that battle pack ahead of him.
Let's jump back to 8th position, tell you an update on Ludwig Sauer. Remember, he had been in a 3-car battle the entire race. Well, he's left his 2 friends behind. Sauer now comfortably a second ahead of Brame, who still fights with Bamber. Maybe Brame's going to be able to run him back down. I maybe spoke too soon there. I thought Sauer was running away. That may not be the case. "21 drivers on the lead lap. 8 minutes of racing to go. Our hard charger is indeed Frederick Neptune. Frederick still on the lead lap. Didn't put in a qualifying time. Started 30th, up into 20th. Been around, has raced in many a Formula Neagle event.
Oh, and up top, Ronald Grossman with a big mistake. He went onto the grass out of 10B. He has to slot all the way back down into P5. Actually, maybe is able to get back into P4. Yes, he is, as he was able to keep more momentum through turn 12 than Johan Van der Belt. So Van der Belt still in 5th place. Yeah, 5th place, but no, that's 4th place. I can't count. My bad. Ronald Grossman 3rd place. There we go. Mike Palo 2nd place, and Johan Van der Belt in.
Yes, that is a battle for 2nd there. The driver missing out of it, if you're tuned in late, where's David 3rd Degree Burns? Well, he was in there for a while until he got a little tappity-tap-tap from Ronald Grossman, and that put David Burns into the wall on the front straight. And I'll tell you, with the competition as steep as it is this season, and the season being so short, that's going to be a hard hole to dig his way out of for the defending champion. This looks like Van der Belt, and sure enough it is, as the graphic comes up, looking on ahead. Great view of the 2-wide action in front. Well, we were wondering who was going to establish themselves as the favorite. Right now, clearly, Sami Toikla is saying, I am the man to beat. I was fastest in qualifying, and I am putting a pasting on the field. But again, with no drop races, one mistake can change your championship hopes from smiles to frowns. Look at the fan belt working through the technical section. We talk about corner 5. It's coming up in a minute.
I am honestly surprised that nobody has been claimed a victim of the inside wall of turn 5. We only saw one guy claiming the outside wall, but apart from that, nobody having much troubles with turn 5.
Yeah, that's the beauty of turn 5. Those walls are equal opportunity. They'll get you on the left or the right side. Let's go up to 2nd here again. I think we're about to see a pass. The defensive line from Grossman. With 4.5 minutes of racing to go, this now starts to become important. The chess game starts. You can start to, if you have any aces up your sleeve, you can start thinking about playing those. Little mixed metaphor there between poker and chess, but you get the idea. I always like to confuse my chess opponent by playing the Queen of Spades. That throw him for a loop. Lap times, 1 minute and 35, basically.
Yeah, moving on from that, Johan Van der Belt, he was looking to the inside of Ronald Grossman. Hello?
got really, really loose right in front. Paluk got loose right in front of Grossman. My goodness, not only did he save it, he didn't even get an off track, I don't think. Talk about drifting. I'm going to be looking at the right side wall here in a minute.
I don't know why our director got so excited about that. That's me driving the skip bobber every single race that I take it to a track. But then again, I use drift setups driving this car, so yeah, Timo Vaskilampi, he once again made a mistake in behind. Not a costly one, just a little bit of an off track. As Paluk now under attack by Ronald Grossman, and also Van der Belt wants to have a little bit of a bite on that. Maybe actually able to get that second place. Let's see, going into turn A. Cannot.
Gets one. Boy, nice job of racing them. They give each other room. And now coming back on him. That's Paluk making the move on the inside. Vanderbilt back. I wonder if there's any hesitation to... These guys saw what happened to Burns. I wonder if they worry about being in front of Grossman and they don't want to fall victim to that one as well. Let's see what happens here as Paluk starts to make the move through the technical section again. Just about 2 minutes to go. All this going on behind Sami Toikala, who's comfortably out in front by 7 seconds. With the apologies to the rest of the field, we're going to keep our attention up here a little bit. I will tell you, though, at the last lap, we'll go back and check in on the Brame, Sauer, and Bamber battle. That one is heated up as well. Good overhead shot as they work through the shadows of the Georgian foliage. Grossman, Paluk, and Vanderbilt. Paluk now makes the move to the outside going into the chicane. Gets that done easily. Just over a minute to go. Our leader coming out of the final corner goes beneath the flag stand and is shown the white flag.
Let's go quickly in behind for that P8 battle as Ludwig Sauer takes it too wide with Vincent Brame into turn A and 10A and 10B and actually makes the move happen.
That is exciting indeed. They will continue to fight. They are very close together as we keep our eye on 3 battles, or 2 battles, the one for second and the one for 8th. Let's go up to the front one right now as they work their way through the corner number 5. Grossman make the move here. Our leader is just going into 7, so we can stay on this one for a bit longer. Now out of 7 from these rascals. This is where we'll start to happen. Toikala 7 seconds up, heading towards the chicane. He's not there yet. Let's see how this plays out. The defensive line from Paluk. Grossman goes to the outside as they head down into the chicane. Vanderbilt's going to come up and make a move as well. They almost touch. They go into the chicane. They get that sorted out. Our leader is through the chicane. They get that sorted as well. Out of the final corner, let's give the win, the season opener, to Sami Toikala as he wins the opening round. Now let's go back to see how this plays out. Paluk in the best position. Can he get the toe on Vanderbilt? Grossman is going to get second spot. Vanderbilt will get third. Paluk behind him. Let's go back to Bamber. Stefan, call it.
Battle for P8. Ludwig Sauer was able to manage to stay ahead there, but Bamber is still on attack with Vincent Brame. They're trying to take away that P9. Very crazy opening to that battle into that turn 10 chicane, but everything was sorted. Actually, Neil Bamber was nearly with all 4 wheels on the grass going into turn 10 there. As
let's
we take
look at
back
this
to
battle.
Turn 15.
Roman and Seha, we have been watching this one. They go through the chicane. Roman with the advantage right now. Seha should be in position to snake this one out of the final corner. Let's see if Nico tucks back in behind. Now he's going to pull alongside. They're both scooting forward in their chair. Who can get there first? It's a drag race to the line. It's shorter around on the inside for Seha. And Seha is going to pick up the spot. He gets 15th. Nico Roman gets 16th. Looking for any other battles back there. And I think that's the last one, as there are going to be 21 cars on the lead lap, the last one being Frederick Neptune. The racing is over here in Georgia, but our broadcast has a little more to go. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate back in a few. Don't go far. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the opening round for the Formula Neagle Season 17 Championship. We're coming your way from Road Atlanta. The results are in. Let's give those to you right now. It was wire to wire for Sammy Tokola, and he's looking to go wire to wire for the points championship as well, as he'll be your leader going into round 2 at Road America. Ronald Grossman is in second. Johan Vanderbilt was able to get through the first couple laps, and he picks up a podium position. Mike Pollock in the 4th spot ahead of Timo Vascalampi. The back half of your top 10, Alejandro Lero, Daniel Moot, Ludwig Sauer, Vincent Bream, and Neil Bamber.
Kurt Krom takes his 130 machine to 11th place. Wojtek Podacek finishes in 12th place. Thomas Kick, the Strudelmeister, in 13th. Guillermo Craver 14th. Ari Sayers 15th. He takes his car from 25th to that 15th position. Nico Roman 16th. Joel Race in 17th. Ronald Mons in 18th. And John Morgan 19th. Rounding out your top 20 drivers here today is Christopher Gales.
Hidden Blackjack, it is Frederick Neptune. Then we get to the drivers that were 1 lap down. Didier Smet 2 laps down. Josh Brain, actually 7 laps down. Sorry, Josh. Well, sorry for mentioning that. Troy Banks is 12 laps down, and all these guys have issues. Then after that, Joseph Wright, Michael Podacek, David Third Degree Burns. We saw what happened to him on the front stretch while he was racing up in the front. Got turned into the wall. Lewis Stevens after that. Scott Angelo in the 29th spot. In 30th, it's Troy Adams. And for the sake of the viewers, Stefan, I'm going to let you take the final 4.
Christian Groyle did finish his race 24 laps down in 31st, and the last 3 drivers did not take the green flag. Tim Hendrickson in 32nd, Liam Lawson 33rd, and Rob Hopp in 34th. And Soup, the guy to talk to us first is our GSRC very own Johan van der Belt.
Indeed, we bring him down in here. Johan, it's fun to talk to you on the track and not sitting next to me for a while. I'll always enjoy calling the broadcast with you. Hey, I said in the broadcast, if you can get through the first couple laps, you'd have a good race. You were able to do it. Congratulations, bringing it home.
Yay! I did it. that was undeserved, I would say. I practiced with the guys before the race, and on race pace I was around a second per lap slower driving by myself than I was in the race. And the fact that I could stay with them in the draft, that just saved everything. I could save fuel, I could stay with the leaders, and in the end I could grab a podium like that. And it was not only in the race but also in qualifying, where I was right behind Ronald Grossman and Mike Paulach. Being behind both those guys allowed me to set a really quick qualifying time and actually P3 on the grid. So both those things, the draft helped me out with both, and that just saved my race.
Was the Skippy like a pair of comfortable shoes? Good to be back in her?
It is like, so imagine putting on a pair of very comfortable shoes that you wore like every day 2 years ago, but suddenly there's like a little pebble stone in it. It's comfortable, you know what you mean? It's slightly different. The car is a lot different than the last time we drove it. It used to be very understeery, well now it's exact opposite with the new tire model and everything. So it is a lot more fun. The car feels a lot more like a real race car, I would say. But it's a completely different beast, and you have to get a different mindset, a different kind of setup for it to really work well now.
I'll get you out of here on this question. Just on the series in general, a lot of new blood in here. This is interesting. With Toikala and Grossman, these guys look good, and Pollock, Vascalampi, it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, but I saw some people say like, oh, is this Aeronome 2.0 or something like that. I think that Sami is an incredibly quick driver. He has been quick all race weekend, but I don't want to write like season over just yet. If I can get a podium with the draft, then people like David, like Timu, like Michael, like Ronald can get wins in the draft. So I think that we have a lot of fun races ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. We got a long way to go, and you guys are competitive. The races will be good. Congratulations on a podium and putting on a good show up there and bringing it home. We'll see you down the road.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Johan van der Velde. Steph, you think he was pleased with that finish?
I think so, yeah. But the thing is, as I said already in the qualifying P2, he didn't reach it. So that one comment on him, it stayed true.
That's going to do it for us. Let's tell you all the people that made this possible. How about the people at the Absolute Beginner League for organizing this series, Formula Neagle, and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software you see on the screen right now that we use to stream cyberspace into your place. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel is thanks to June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact her. Formula Neagle returns for round 2 in 2 weeks. That's going to be June 30th from Road America. Boy, that'll be fun. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across the screen right now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about us, globalsimracingchannel.com. We got social media options as well. Twitter at GSRC Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And while you're here, hit that big red button if you haven't become a subscriber already, so you don't miss a thing on GSRC. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Stefan, Joe, and Dougie. I'd like to thank all of you for watching as we saw a wire-to-wire win for Sammy Toikala here in the opening round at Road Atlanta. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.